Hello, live on YouTube tonight. I hope everybody's had a wonderful day. Coach Neighbors, advocates for justice, paralegal service. We are different and we prove it. Hey, we got something special for tonight. And we're also going to talk about this subject on the radio show on Wednesday. And I think it's going to be pretty hot. So, the subject of tonight's conversation is we're going to cover marriage dissolution. Right, getting a divorce. Yeah, I had a family member go through that a few years back, and we did some research, and I created this document and how to use it. And I ran across it the other day going through some of my stuff, and I thought, man, this would be great. So, how many people are in a situation where you'd like to have your marriage dissolved without the signature of the other party, without having to pay attorneys, without the judge in your face, without having to go to court? Yeah, this is sounding pretty good, isn't it? And last but not least, or maybe we should have started with least but not last first. How would you like to dissolve your marriage without draining your bank account? hmm So this marriage dissolution document that I structured, I'm going to have it on my website. I think I'm going to price it at a low price so everybody can use it. And I think that price is going to be around $200. But hang on before you freak out. All of the people that call into the radio show on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, well, let's see what that date is this coming Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, September 23rd at 1 o'clock Central Time on Hamilton Radio. And that's HMILTONRADIO.net. And the call in number is 609 585 0400. So let me get all that out of the way first. So you guys can call in. So I'm going to have this document on special for people who call into the show. They'll get a better deal than what's going to be shown on the website. So I'm giving y'all a chance to get in the house. Now, the goal for doing the research for this marriage dissolution document was to find a way for a family member of mine, a very close family member and best friend, to be able to get a divorce without having to go to court and all the attorney stuff, and without her, you know what I'm saying? We went over that whole list already. And we started doing research. And what we found, we used. And this family member filed it in their public record and went back the following day to check to see, because most people don't think it could be that easy. It can't be that easy. And he went back and checked and pulled it up on the computer. You know, they have little computers there. You can pull your stuff up on the computer. And he pulled up and checked his marriage status, showed that it was dissolved the day prior, the same day he filed his marriage dissolution. Now, I've had another young lady use this in South Carolina, I think, and they gave her a real hard time. Now, granted, the first person that used it had the same last name as mine, so I don't think they would have given him a hard time, even if they wanted to. I don't know. But what I do know, one of the things, the difference is between the two people that used it is, one person discussed the D word, the divorce. And once that word comes out to these people, when you're trying to file this stuff on the record and take care of that, if you mention the D word, then they're done. And they're going to tell you, no, we can't do that. You're going to need to head on over to family court, and you're going to need to make sure you go get your checkbook out of the car because you're going to need it. Yeah, that's what they did to her. And they actually were very rude and intimidating to her. And I think they kind of scared her. So one of the things that, and that was a couple of years ago that this occurred. You know, when we all grow as we learn and grow when time passes. So I think with this package, I'm going to add a notice of claim document in it that you can use if they want to try and refuse filing your putting your document on the public record. Now, in a nutshell, I did the research on this. Okay, I did quite a bit of research on this, more research than I needed to be able to have the document do what the document was structured to do, because the research was really interesting. And so I'm going to take you guys through that research, and I'm going to tell you, like I tell you all the time, I'm not asking you to take my word for it. Okay. I'm putting you on a path, the starting point where you can do your own research and figure things out for yourself. Because I figured this out. And this, what I'm sharing with you is the research from my perspective based off of what I figured out. Now, I don't have anybody standing up telling me that I need to go sit down because my stuff ain't it. And we got a couple of haters in a couple of the Facebook pages that, are saying things behind a different name. And I'm not in the sixth grade, so I don't have time to play all those games. I just invite them to the radio show. If they got something to say about what I'm doing, bring it to the radio show. I just gave everybody the number at the start of this. Bring it to the radio show, and we'll talk about it on the air. Just like I did the dude that's in California, that was the investigator from the California Bar Association, worried about I'm engaged in on-ramp law without a license. Bring it. Call me up. We'll discuss it on the radio show. And the owner's there. He's the producer. So it's not like I'm going to reach through the phone and grab anybody or anything. People got a lot to say. And I'm like, dude, just bring it to the show. Let's get it on the record here and let everybody see what's up. And then we'll see how much you got to say. Because I've done my homework. And I would challenge anybody that thinks that what I'm saying is, whatever. Or, if you respect what I'm doing, call into the show and let the guy know. Okay, because he's letting me, he's not charging me for being on the radio show. And I'd like to make sure that they see that what we're talking about is things that people are interested in. And I'll tell you right now, from the increase in views and comments on my YouTube page, it's pretty obvious to me that everybody wants to know about these attorneys and the fraud they're doing and all of that kind of stuff. And boy, I tell you what, I have plenty of experience in figuring all that stuff out. So I'm going to be glad to share that with you. But tonight we're going to share this process that I came up with. This process that has been structured to help you get your marriage dissolved without having to pay attorneys a bunch of fees, without having to go to court and jump through a bunch of hoops, without all them people getting your financial information and sticking it all in your face and putting it on the pub. Yeah, without all of that. And the only thing that could be a problem for this is if there's a dispute in assets. Because if there's a dispute in assets or something like that, then the judge is going to have to figure it out. But there's a lot of people who don't even know where the other person is because, well, we won't get into all of that. But, there's a lot of people stuck in this situation that don't have the money to pay these attorneys all of this money to help them. And they don't even know where the other person is. And who knows what the other person is doing? And there's a lot of situations where people could use this and take control of the situation and start your life over again. So, but the goal for me, but the goal was to help my family member, and now my goal is to help other people stop attorneys from taking your money. So that's pretty much where I'm at with this. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to use their same process they use to make the marriage legal, to make the process unlegal. And there's nothing the state can do about it. I mean, they can try and scare you off, but I'm going to give you a little more firepower to take with you in case they try to do that. They'll be able to. What you need to do is you need to make them. You need to make them visualize shared liability real quick, and then they ain't so quick wanting to do all these things that they usually do to people after they intimidate you. Okay. Now, this process works best in a situation, like I said, where there's no disputes that the judge would need to rule on. Or where is there any other reason it would be unlawful for consenting adults to be married as if they were otherwise incompetent? So there's no reason for that people that it would be unlawful for two consenting adults to be married unless they were incompetent. Therefore, if a couple goes to the state and asks for the state license, where there is no other reason for them to need a license other than incompetence in law. I know it's really sad what they're doing, how they've got this all done. You know, people tell me, oh, I want to go into court and I want to argue, the servicer. Okay, so people need to understand that the system that you're arguing in was structured by the attorneys. And it's not fair for you. So, and of course, you know that already. Now, one must ask, when a bride and groom are incompetent to be married without a state license and the state grants the license, who is responsible for the marriage? Who's the guarantor? And no, this is funny because when I was helping my family member with this, we called down to the courthouse and we asked them. So if the state is the guarantor of the contract of the marriage license, then so what are the terms? Who's responsible for anything created with such a marriage license? The answer, the guarantor, the state. Okay, so here's where it starts to get a little more ugly. So what typically is the only thing created in such a marriage? Children. So I ask you, who do the children created in the marriage license belong to? Okay, so you guys are catching on now. They belong to the state. Now, this is kind of the part that I didn't need to go over to make the document do what we needed to do, but I'm sure you're all sitting there wondering, this is interesting. Am I crazy? I've been told that before, that I'm crazy. So believe it or not, just check out the evidence. Evidence one, the state social services stand their authority on their doctrine called Parens Patria, 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 which is a Latin for parent by country. Now, that's real interesting because most people fighting family services or family court or whatever have a hard time figuring out how to challenge the court's jurisdiction or what actual doctrine they're using to take jurisdiction and control the court. So that's it, that right there. And I bet it could be picked apart. But anyway, that's not what we're doing. I need to stay focused here. So the Latin term parent by country. The modern usage patria is understood to mean the state is the parent. There's more evidence. When the US doctors deliver children from the womb, they are required to create a document known as the record of live birth, and they did not give that to you. They gave you a birth certificate. So what happened to the record of live birth? Well, it's sent to the Bureau of Vital Statistics, which is a subdepartment of the Department of Commerce. So what is the Department of Commerce? It's where the US keeps track of its possessions. Yeah, you guys can do your own research on this. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. So this evidence indicates that the state is declaring the children as their possessions at birth. Evidence 3. New statutes require hospitals to assign Social Security numbers to each child before birth or without natural parents' signature or permission. Now, I guess the most important word in that is the statute. The statute required. Well, you know what? The statute's not a valid law. So we all know that. Evidence 4. Why are each of the birthings performed in hospitals, they have to be registered as a port of entry into the United States, into the US, when virtually none of them have incoming foreigners? Now, these are some pretty weird things, but they're true. Birth records and census reports are used as collateral for U.S. loans and proof of sovereign nature of people under control of the United States government. One lady told me that she knew that your marriage license was turned into a bond. Okay, let me check back and see if anybody has any questions. How are we doing over here? Hey, James Galley, MXY Capital, Michael Lewis. Are you new, Michael Lewis? Yep, Michael Lewis, the Social Security number is part of the contract, one of the contracts handing your kids over. Yep. So some of you guys know about this. Good. Let's go back over here and finish up. So in order to understand everything, we must learn what happened. In time past, there was no licensing of marriages except in cases where it was unlawful otherwise to marry. So, for example, biblical law forbidden interracial marriages. So the statutes of this nation, which were based on biblical law, prohibited marriages between persons of different races. If a white person wanted to marry a black person or an Indian person, they had to, by statute, they were required to get a license. Marriage records were kept in family Bibles and then the county clerk and the recorder's offices. Statutes were entered to allow everyone desiring a marriage license to obtain one. Ooh, the statutes, those invalid laws, they call them the statutes. So, and then churches were used to assist people in getting marriage license as a matter of recording the marriages. Over time, people began to believe that licenses were required by law, even though they were otherwise incompetent. Now remember, the promise is given to Israel, but that if we maintain our stewardship, we will inherit the earth. Our stewardship starts with our families. It is ironic that the document typically used to begin a marriage is the same document used by corporate state to remove our children from us. Now, anybody ever wanted to warn you about the government? No one ever warned you about the government because the employees were just doing their job. In contract law, there is no signature if full disclosure is not given with the presentation of the agreement. That's it. That's in common law, and that's the deal. In contract law, there is no signature if full disclosure is not given with the presentation of the agreement. In the case of marriage license, if you use one, you were likely not informed that the guarantor of the license is a privately owned corporation. You probably were not informed that licensing with them was not necessary for you to be married. If you requested a license from them, you were declaring yourself incompetent, and you were signing over your possessions of your future children to them as collateral. So if all the above are true, then the contract and license is void without signature from the beginning. So this is kind of cool. So now you can get out of the marriage without an attorney, without the court, and blame it on the state's fraud. How nice is that? You don't have to blame it on the ex. You don't have to blame it on yourself. You can blame it on the state's fraud. They didn't tell you all of these things. Had you known all these things, it would have made a big difference now, right? You know, they say hindsight. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard that before. So you go through this process and now you're in control. Now, in law, notice has a greater authority than a state issued marriage license. The process that I have structured is the same process the state used when they accepted your money and provided you the marriage license that you did not need. We are using custom documents to dissolve the marriage. We use the same process the state used to make the marriage legal, to dissolve the marriage. So as long as you understand this, you can get in their face if they give you a hard time, because what legal grounds would they have to not put your stuff in the public record? That's all you're asking them to do, is to file your marriage dissolution document in the public record, and it'll show right underneath the marriage certificate they have filed in the public record. The only difference between this process that I'm helping you learn how to do and the process that they're doing is that you're going to fill out the paperwork instead of paying an attorney a whole stinking ton of money to fill out the paperwork, and paying the court to accept your paperwork, and taking off work to run down there every time they feel like they want to drag your butt down. Yeah, so you see where I'm going with it. Oh yeah, and they charge you for all the hearings too. Everything that you do in there, they charge you for. So now you can take care of all that and without all of that. So my process will provide you with the tools that you need to get your notice of marriage dissolution on the public record. And I haven't got this posted on my website yet. I'm just about ready. I'm gonna just thinking today. I'm gonna add a little something to it in case they try to give you a hard time, because I don't like to lose. I don't like to have to redo stuff. I like for people to do what my people tell them. So, I'm a little pushy with that. So once in the public record, it's a done deal. And all you need to do is, and you don't even need to have the signature of the other party. But what I would do is after it's filed in the public record, I would get a copy, make sure you get a file stamp copy, and send the other party a copy to let them know that it's over. And when you go to file your document, never, never, never mention the D word. Don't want to talk about the D word. If you do, then they're going to figure out you're trying to get out of paying all that money in family court, and they're going to send you over there and give you a hard time. Now you'll have what you need to get up in their face, but it's smarter if you go in and you play dumb. I don't know. My legal team told me to file this in a public record. That's all I know has something to do with my lawsuit. So that's all I can tell you. If you got any questions, you can write me and I'll give your stuff to my legal team so they can come back and kick your ass. Okay, sorry. I got carried away. Remember, you don't have to give them anything. I had something else in there, but I cleaned it up a little bit. You don't have to give them anything. If they want to know where you got that or what you're trying to do, you don't have to tell them shit. Dude, can I talk to your supervisor? And when the supervisor came to the table, I would let them know that this person is giving you a hard time and refusing to file this, place this document on the public record like you requested. And she's a public servant. She's supposed to do what the public asks her. If she's not placing my document on the public record, I need to know if you guys have the authority to make a legal determination on my document. That's what you say too when you're trying to file your stuff in court, and they're like in your pleadings and stuff in court, and they're giving you a hard time. Yeah, just ask them. Do you guys have the authority to make a legal determination on my document? Because I need to ask my legal team about that. And then if they act like they're not hearing you, then you want to whip out your little notepad. You know, the one the popo uses when they show up at your house the second time and they ask you the same questions, but now they want to know who they're talking to. No, that never happened to me. I saw it on TV. Okay, never mind. We're getting sidetracked. So if they refuse to file your documents on the public record, get their employee bar number, get their number or whatever. So, and I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna need this information so that my legal team can add your bond to the complaint that I'm gonna be filing for you guys obstructing the administration of justice. Obstructing the administration of justice. That's a big word. Not very many people use it or know how to use it or use it in the right place. Obstructing the administration of justice. And if they give you a hard time, you want to also let them know that in your claim, you're also going to file a claim against them for, you're going to include in your claim a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. That is what I would use anytime the judge illegally dismisses your stuff. I would use that. And if you bought the lawsuit package, I believe you have a copy of that document in the motion for reconsideration and notice of claim. I think it is that notice of claim is a claim for violation of Administrative Procedures Act of 1946, which is an actual federal law that was enacted in 1946. And this federal law, you can't get like damage money for it, but because it's an administrative thing, but you can force the corporation to change their policies and procedures because this law mandates that their policies and procedures are supposed to be in line with the Constitution, and they are not. And they don't even want to play with this. Now, if you're going to try and look this up, you're going to have to make sure you put Administrative Procedures Act of 1946 when you're researching it, or you'll pull up Cornell Law Library watered down BS that attorneys put on there because they don't want people to know about this. This violation of the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946 is the baddest stuff, okay? It is the baddest stuff to use to make them give you a pass and get out your face. Remember, when you're challenging the validity of the marriage license, it's based on the fact that the state failed to disclose the following material facts: who the guarantor of that the guarantor of the license was a privately owned company, that it wasn't necessary for you to get a license, and if you requested a license, you were declaring yourself to be incompetent, and you were signing over. They didn't tell you any of that. So people need to remember that if you're doing this, then you are canceling this out from the beginning because the state did not disclose material fact. It did not provide full disclosure. And in law, notice has greater authority than a state issued marriage license. And that's big right there. Okay. Like in law, a notice has greater authority than a state issued marriage license. So if they want to give you a hard time about doing what you need to have them do, you need to make sure you throw that in their face too and get it right there on the table. The authority that you will be using is the authority of common law in original jurisdiction, as was endowed upon man, woman at birth. So you need to make sure that you study this and understand where you're taking it in there. So when they try to get, but no, my legal team said, don't even let them finish what they're saying, because they're gonna come out and try to talk crap if they figure out what you're doing. There may be someone not even. I just want to place this on the public record, please. Thank you. I'll be back here. Here's the $5. I'm saving $1 million. Okay, never mind. You don't want to tell them all that. So this is the same authority and power that makes you sovereign. It's funny. People have no idea how much power we have, and they have no idea how to use it. And when you roll with me, I'm going to show you how to use that power that you have. It follows in law. The notice is in accord with the laws and individual states, and it is binding. This notice of marriage dissolution is in effect on the date, let it be known to all, this marriage has been dissolved by the beginning due to a lack of full disclosure by the state. That's like one of the last paragraphs from the document. Yeah, I thought I'd just throw that in because that's something pretty badass done, and I'm getting scared already. Okay, so I'm excited to be able to help many people make changes in their lives without having to pay attorneys a ton of money to fill out court forms. That's all they do is fill out the court forms. Or you're paying them $300 an hour to fill out court forms. And don't call them and ask them a question, because it's like 20 minutes they're going to charge you for talking to you for 2 seconds. So I'm going to price this new document on my website for half price at $200 for everyone that needs it. So hopefully everybody can afford it. So I'm going to add a couple of documents to the package. But so it's not ready yet, but I will have it done probably at the end of the day tomorrow. And I'll have it on the website. And we're going to add a document to it, a notice of claim letter to it, and maybe one or two other things in case an attorney gets involved. You'll have something to smack the attorney in the face with. So that's kind of what I like to do. So I want to let you guys know about that. So let me go back and check and see if people have some more questions. So. Yeah, MYX Capital said, we the people trust is the only correct trust. All union citizens must protect them, and that is absolutely true. So Michael Lewis says, my question or fear is what kind of negative recourse by the courts, the sheriff, if you beat the court at the game. So Michael Lewis, I'm not even going to spend any time answering that. I'm just not. I'm gonna go on by, because if you don't have the courage to step up and do whatever it takes, you should not be here. You should be on the attorney's website where they can, no offense, but and that's our role. I don't sit around and worrying about what they're gonna do. They already did that to me. Okay, they locked me up for 33 months and then tried to force medicate me because I wouldn't shut up. So no, I don't care about that. They can do whatever they want to, because you have the right to do this. You have a right to stand up and protect your stuff. You have the right, but not unless you're willing to do whatever it takes. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes, then you might well. I was saying this to a guy one time on the phone, and I was standing outside with my 6-year-old, my 7-year-old grandkids, and I said, dude, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, they would listen to me because I was getting a little fired up. I said, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, you better make sure you kick the soap around. Yeah, I was gonna say something about the soap. You don't want to do pick up. Okay, so anyway, he kind of like, what? So I explained to him my kids were here, and he started cracking up laughing. So he got it. So you know what? That's it. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes, please don't use my stuff. My stuff's not for everybody, and my stuff's kind of in some people's face. So if you are worried that what are they going to do to you? The way I see it, what are they going to do to you? If they want to come and get in my face, I will add their butts to the document, because at the end of the day, if you don't step up to defend yourself, then you might as well just pack up your stuff. And I don't know where you'd go, because once they find out that they can trash you and you're not going to do anything about it, and people wonder why, that's why. Why should they let you pass when they can kick your ass? Okay, I just threw that together. But my program's not for everybody. And I tell you, if you get in my program and you get weak, they're gonna make an example out of you. They teach other people, what happens when people stand up against them. Now, this is what I'll tell you too. A lot of people ask me all the time, well, how many people have won this and how many people have won that? So number one, what we're doing is not in the conventional way. So when you say win, that means like the judge is going to give you stuff. Like, no, hell no, I haven't seen that happen. So, I mean, there's case law that says it did, but I have not seen it. And I've been doing this for a minute. So to me, that's not winning thinking, no, that's, your job is to get what you need on the record for your lawsuit and your appeal. And to force them to visualize the shared liability. At some point in time, that stuff you've been stacking on the table is going to make the legs start shaking. And all you need is one person to step out of the plan, and then the rest of that plan falls apart, because people start worrying about themselves. And that's what you have to do by getting all this stuff on the record that we discussed. People call me out, oh my God, I got emails today, and people sent me a big giant email, and we don't talk about all of that stuff in this program. We use a couple of those documents to show who signed them, and that's pretty much it. You never want to go into court arguing what they said you did or didn't do. Okay, high dollar lawyers never gonna let you do that. They're gonna attack them for what they've been doing wrong because they always been doing something wrong. All you gotta do is find one thing, and we got a whole list. And in this document, it's obvious that the state's doing what they're doing, and they didn't tell you they were going to be doing all of that. So if they want to block you from using it, they're going to have to come to the table and explain some stuff. So anyway, I'll put a link to down in the comment section when the course is done, or excuse me, when the document's done. I'll put a link in the comment section so you guys can check it later in a couple of days. And also, make sure you subscribe. I'm almost have the 1,000 subscribers that I need. And we're working on the watch time hours, which is moving really fast. So hopefully I'll be able to monetize my site. Once my site's monetized, I'm going to lower my prices again. That's what I'm going to do. So if you guys have not subscribed, subscribe down below and click the bell. So when class starts, you won't be late, because you're late, you're going to have to run after practice. And I never had to do that either, but I saw other people, right? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will see you guys in a few days. And you guys got my email address. If you need something or have questions, or if you know someone interested in this document, go ahead and let them know. Let them know about it. I'm going to leave my email address here. Also, the link to my online course. So I want to show you guys that before I leave, maybe. Wait, let me see. Let me see if I can figure out how to do screen share again. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share that one. Here we go. This is my new paralegals school where we host our online course. Now I'm working on the non-judicial course too, but I had to slow down a little bit because there were some things in here that I didn't have right. And for the longest time, when you clicked on the enroll button, it went to like a blank page. And I was like, what? So we're going to click on it now, and it's going to the right page now because I figured it out. I have no hair left, but I figured it out. And this is what the course looks like. So this is the introduction, how to use the course, course outline, about the instructor, resources, the banker's ultimate fear. The PDF that you'll get when you join this course, the Banker Secret Manual. There was one section in there that discussed this, and that section, we took stuff out of that section to beef up our new documents that we're using in the online course. So the online course documents are different than the documents in the lawsuit packages. And had a lady tell me, so, oh, my lawsuit packages are no good. I'm like, dude, you're overthinking it. The lawsuit packages are fine. Just that I wanted to beef it up. This online course is set up for, if you have investments, real properties, or whatever that you need to protect because people have been out of a job because of this COVID-19 crap or whatever. This is the perfect tool for that, because you have everything here at your fingertips that you need. All of the lawsuit packages in my inventory that we've ever used in a foreclosure situation are added in here. My goal was to put everything that you need so I wouldn't have to charge you for other stuff, because that's what attorneys do. So I didn't want to be doing that. But my goal was to have everything together that you need to now I'm going to add a section to this to this course in the next week or two to help teach you how to actually structure the documents. But I'm not too worried about that right now because, the first part of this is understanding the documents, the strategy behind using them, and when you need to be sticking them in their face so that you can protect what you got going on right now. Now, after that, we can step up and look at the conventional versus conventional foreclosure defense versus non-conventional foreclosure defense. This is real critical to understand because if you understand this, then you understand that worrying about winning and losing and how many you won or lost is irrelevant because that's not what this, if you understand this, then you'll understand that if you attack the person that actually signed the document to initiate the foreclosure against your property, you will be driver of the bus. So we have it set up. Our strategy is set up to put yourself in position for your appeal at the gate, at the beginning. And that's kind of how we do it, by attacking attorneys. And the attorneys, when we do that, they have a hard time finding other attorneys because the new attorneys know that you're going after them for wrongful foreclosure, acting as a third-party debt collector without standing. And once they find that out, they don't want to help anymore the other attorneys because they're doing the same thing. So that creates a little bit of a problem. Now the judge has to allow them to go into court and represent the law firm they're affiliated with when they know they're not supposed to be doing that. And then you use that. So now you're appealing on them clearly violating the court rules and the law. So that's kind of how we do that. The magistrate judge doesn't have jurisdiction to be in your case without consent from all parties. Now, the documents that we have here, the first couple of ones are going to be filed in order, but the rest of these are not going to be filed in the order that they're marked. I just marked them so they would be organized. How they're filed is going to depend on, well, if they can respond first. So in the online course, the first set of documents you'll be filing is the jurisdictional challenge with an affidavit and the motion to moot all of their pleadings until the jurisdiction is proved on the record. Now, you'll be filing that in the state court case and then filing your lawsuit in federal court. And then you'll be able to use all of that in state court as evidence to show what happened in state court, to show federal court that, well, they don't really need to have a trial. They just need to set up some settlement discussions so that they can figure out how much they want to give you. Because when you do this in state court, you're going to blow their case up and you're going to prove that they shouldn't have filed it in the first place and state court did not have jurisdiction to hear it at all. And the reason state court didn't have jurisdiction, and I'm going to share this with you guys because this is powerful. The reason the state court does not have jurisdiction is because the attorneys are a foreign agent. And in the last video that I put up, we covered that, and I put the case law and everything right there on the screen. The attorneys are a foreign agent, and a foreign agent cannot bring a case in state court. That would be like somebody suing somebody in another country in state court. Now, you can't even sue somebody in another state in state court. So they filed this foreclosure in state court, and that's a problem. And here's another problem. I'm going to throw this right out there too. Here's another problem. The problem is, particularly in a judicial foreclosure, the statute that they're using to foreclose does not have the necessary elements to be considered a valid law. Your state mandates that for something to be a law, it has to have an enacting clause, and it has to have a body, and it has to have a title. And the enacting clause is like one of the most important things because that tells everybody from what authority the law comes from and who's subject to following it. And we, the people, in the Constitution is the enacting clause for that. But okay, so I'm getting too carried away here. But anyway, so those are things that you could file right now to dismiss your case with. then that the statute that they're using for the foreclosure and judicial foreclosure does not have the necessary elements to be considered a valid law. So it cannot provide jurisdiction to the court to do what they're doing all day long. So where else can you go on YouTube and get some free advice like this that you can use tomorrow? Advocates of justice, paralegal service. We're different and we prove it. Okay, I'm getting carried away now. But I'm serious, as you can see. So so I added a new course to this already once, and it is the legal malpractice lawsuit package. Now, I added this because if you had an attorney that ripped you off, before you get, now I wouldn't worry about this until you get the situation under control. And then you can go and have some fun. Now, so legal malpractice, we have to remember that the attorneys are the ones that structured the current legal system. So it wasn't made for us. So legal malpractice, they have made it, they have the bar so high to prove damages that you almost have to have like a lot of people die. Okay, so what we've done is we put together a legal malpractice, our lawsuit for legal malpractice / breach of contract. And we're going after the attorney fees and the attorney's license. Well, if they screwed up and breached the contract, he shouldn't be able to keep the license, right? So that's how we're going to do that. Now, I'm thinking most people pay these attorneys quite a bit of money. So who knows? Maybe you could use that to get your fees back, get money back for what you spend to enroll in an online course. Yeah, I like adding this in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this legal malpractice / breach of contract lawsuit in a different window and post it in the group and the Facebook page, so people can use it for, I don't know, $50 or something crazy. And I'll probably do that next week too. So got a lot of stuff to do. So that's it. And we'll click the enroll now button and make sure it takes me to the right place. It wasn't taking me to the right place before. Yep. So this is what it looks like. So the course is half price right now, $1,200. And these are what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to get control of your foreclosure without an attorney. You're going to learn who signed to start the foreclosure against your property. My program has a strategy in it to block the eviction process. And you will use your title dispute and your federal lawsuit to shut down state court. And you'll add the attorney who signed the foreclosure documents as the #1 defendant and mess up the whole program. And you will learn tricks the court uses to illegally dismiss your lawsuit and what you need to do about them. So there's more stuff you're going to learn. They only gave me those 6 things, those 5 things. I wanted to go on a few more pages, but anyway. So we're going to stop the share and go back, and there we go. So let me see if there's some more questions. Okay. So Wayne Dingy says, once you spank the lawyers and the courts, the rest will fall in place. And you know what? And that's why I tell people, As soon as they violate you, you gotta slap something on them. You got plenty. If you got the package from me, whether you're in the online course or whether you got the luxury package, you got what you need to slap somebody. But people are scared to do it. I don't get it. Once they find out you're weak, you got a problem. Does the course cover IRS? No. The course does not cover IRS. It covers foreclosure defense and how to stop them and get them out of your face from foreclosing on your house. So the IRS, if you're not a citizen of the federal government, the IRS has no business in your face either. Period. But people don't know that, and people think they're citizens of it. So there's two United States. There's United States of America, which are all of the states, and then there's United States, the federal government. So the federal government has tricked a lot of people into thinking that they're citizens of the federal government have to do all this stuff. Well, you're not. And I played football in college and I boxed. Those are two things not smart people do. So I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it simple. So the IRS, if you cannot be a citizen of the federal government because nobody can be born in a fictitious corporation. Nobody can be born in a fictitious entity. So there you go. Nobody can be a citizen of the federal government. That whole thing is just like their statutes and laws and all of this stuff is BS. So I'm just saying. And people have to understand that if what you're doing is not working, it's time to do something else. You can't keep doing the same thing. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. You guys keep close tabs on this. So if this comes out, I'm going to leave my email address. So if anybody needs this document, just send me an email. And when I get it done, I will shoot you over the link to it. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to have this document on special for everybody that calls into the radio show on Wednesday, the 23rd, 1 o'clock Central Time. And I posted the phone number in there. I'll give the phone number again. The phone number, actually, I'm going to write it in. It's 609 585 0400. Oops, it didn't write in. I'm going to try that again. 609 585 0400. And that is HamiltonRadio.net. Okay.